Over the last few videos, we've talked about AI adoption from a managing partner's perspective. Not from hype, not from demos, and not from vendor promises. Now in this episode, I want to tie it all together and answer the real question managing partners care about. Does this actually make economic sense? In this episode, I want to tie it all together and answer the real questions managing partners care about. Does this actually make economic sense? Firms don't fail at AI because the technology is bad. They fail because they treat AI like a tech experiment instead of a business decision. When you approach it like a business decision, with scope, controls, and numbers, the picture gets a lot clearer. So let's start with a realistic AI adoption example. Say you're a small to mid-sized firm. You decide to pilot AI for one narrow task, summarizing medical records. Before AI, that task might take a staff member or associate 2 to 3 hours per case. Conservatively, let's call it 2 hours. Now multiply that out. 10 cases a month, that's 20 hours. 20 cases a month, that's 40 hours. That's an entire work week, every month, spent summarizing records. Now let's do the boring but important math. Say the work is being done by someone whose fully loaded cost is $50 an hour. At 40 hours a month, that's $2,000. Over a year, that's $24,000 just in one repetitive task. Now let's say AI, used correctly, cuts that time in half. Not eliminates it, but cuts it in half. That's $12,000 a year saved on one workflow. If the AI tool costs you a few $1,000s a year to pilot and scale responsibly, the math works. As long as you don't blow it up with bad adoption. Now here's where firms get into trouble and lose money with AI. They buy too much AI too fast. They roll out firm-wide. They don't define how it should be used, and then suddenly, nobody trusts the output. Staff spend time fixing AI mistakes, and attorneys stop using AI altogether. At that point, the ROI goes negative, not because AI failed, but because leadership didn't put guardrails in place. The firms that actually win with AI do 5 boring things very well. 1, they define the problem first. 2, they test on a small number of cases. 3, they write simple SOPs. 4, they train their people before rollout. And 5, they evaluate honestly before scaling. Now, none of that is flashy, but it's exactly why AI becomes an asset instead of a distraction. Here's why this approach scales. Once you have one workflow working, like medical summaries, you don't just save time, you build confidence in your team. That confidence lets you expand into other areas like intake triage, document review, maybe even case analysis. But you can only take those steps after your team trusts the process and the technology. So AI isn't about being early, it's about being deliberate. The firms that win aren't chasing every new tool, they're building systems that people actually use and, more importantly, trust. And when you do that, the economics tend to take care of themselves. We don't need the fanciest combine on the lot. We just need one that runs all season without breaking down. Okay, y'all, time for me to mosey on down home for some well-earned family time. If you found this video useful, give those like, share, and subscribe buttons a little taparoo. We'll be back before you know it with more AI for attorneys. Cheers.